customers are becoming less loyal to brands. And this is according to the study done by Shopify and the trends in 2025. And we'll look at what's going on and also try to answer how we can help your brands and businesses retain loyalty from customers. My name is Elisha Terada. I'm a creator of Brancher AI with over 200,000 users now. And I'm also a business consultant.
And I'm Leah Terada. We're married. I do social media marketing for businesses. I've created content for over 30 businesses. I've made over 200 long-form videos and 300 short-form videos.
Yeah, so this actually would be a very interesting topic for two of us because you have the social media expertise. And I also help customers leverage emerging technologies like Gen AI and XR. And we are actually getting requests to help with the brand loyalty aspect of it. So we'll get into that. But let me first read this study from the Shopify so we're all on the same page. So brand loyalty is waning. Several factors can push your customers to buy from your competitors. Competition is increasing. While spending power is predicted to decrease, inspiring consumers to be more critical of where they're putting their dollars. And they say price, though, isn't the only reason for waning loyalty. Consumers prioritizing their values are increasing, opting for brands with sustainable business practices. Consumers are also seeking convenient, responsive, and personalized shopping experience. And they're willing to look elsewhere to find them. So let's touch on the first 2 points that I mentioned. The first part is the consumers increasing opting for brands with sustainable business practices. For me, like maybe the clothing fashion brands comes to my mind, but do you have any comments on your observations around that?
Since there's so much choice to shop from for fashion, skincare, makeup, I think it also comes down to, do you believe in what they do? Do they align with my values? And then are they at a price point that I can afford?
Wait, so when they say sustainable business practices, like what kind of value you're talking about? Like what does it mean for those brands to be sustainable?
There's a zero waste. I think that's a movement right now, right?
Zero waste.
Packaging is
Okay,
less
packaging.
plastic in general and more paper,
Okay.
more easily biodegradable materials.
Is this something
like-
is this something brands actually say that on their website? Like our packaging is better and that's why it makes you want to buy it? Or do you just hear about it from other stories? Like when does consumers know?
It's on the website.
On the website?
It's on social media too.
Oh, like
When
they
I
have like a
worked-
stories or something?
Well, when I worked with beauty brands, fashion brands, they would talk about how they use either sustainable materials to create recycled materials or that the ingredients were clean. And that was a very common content pillar that they had because their audience was very into that. And it's a good way to, your audience probably isn't seeing your content all the time, but there are other people who are new who are coming and believe in that. And so it's important to continue to talk about that. So it is something that a lot of consumers, and I don't know if there's like a gender bias. There could be. If there is, then I think women probably care more about that when it comes to the products they use, if it's at the right price point. I think price point is a very big factor too in this sustainable
Yeah, interesting.
movement.
Yeah, let's touch on the gender part a little bit later. But starting with, so you're saying the brands want to actually create content to kind of promote, like, hey, we're sustainable. We're using packaging that's more environmentally friendly. And because consumers actually react positively to that, is it because of like Instagram posts or TikTok posts, or like how are brands like promoting the fact that they're sustainable?
I mean, it's their promotion in their content. They either show how they package their products or they talk about where the materials are sourced. And you see posts that are we only source, I don't know. Okay, well, besides fashion, maybe if you think about coffee or something,
Mm.
like it's a single origin
Oh, yeah.
sourcing, right?
Kind of
And
the
you're
farmers are taking care kind of
right, like
narrative, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, down the
Yeah.
chain, right, of business and ethical business practices. I think this movement is probably stemming from I mean, I think there's just a lot more ways to get information these days, but when you look at news, you see a lot of, for example, plastics, like I think there was I don't know if it was like a video, but there were just like cans of the rings, the plastic rings around the cans, and then animals would get caught in them. And
Mm.
I think now we're kind of realizing the impact of, in a way, like hyper consumerism. I'm not sure if that's a word. I'm making that up, but just being too consumerist without considering the environmental impacts. Like, yeah, this might look pretty, but is this going to go back to the earth, or is some animal gonna get stuck in it or, like, die because of this? And I think we think more about that. At the same time, I think it's because, we have more luxury to think about that these days too, with the kind of jobs and, um, the competition, I think, yeah, that there is out there.
To kind of differentiate, you
Yeah.
kind of need to, like, what else can you differentiate, right? Like, you can only go down so much in the price.
Right, if it's not,
Uh,
yeah, down in price, right, and then that calls into question the quality and what exactly then am I supporting?
yeah, I guess if you think about how companies invest, they could invest in like expanding the manufacturing capabilities to drive the cost down, the economy of scale, right? Like the more you produce,
Mhm,
generally the more you can reduce in the cost. But the sustainable approach of, okay, we're investing more money into the packaging materials
mhm,
that would, I guess, return back in forms of the revenue, even if it temporarily increased the cost of the production. So that's kind of interesting. And I want to touch on the gender part as well. Do you think more female audience care about it because they would talk about it among themselves, or do you think there are more influencers who care about, like, hey, we're gonna do this, I don't know, shopping content, but a lot of the comments on the, I don't know, YouTube are like commenting about like, oh, the packaging looks wasteful because they will do the unboxing experience, right?
right.
And then people comment on it, and maybe there's probably more fashion content for female audience, so maybe that becomes more like a visible and
Mhm.
concerning. Whereas men, I guess men comment more on the features of the whatever they buy, and maybe I I noticed the male creators talk about like quality of packaging, like, oh, like Apple box and all that stuff,
Yeah,
but
it's
they
so
don't talk about,
sleek
yeah,
or
silly,
shiny,
yeah, but they
yeah.
don't talk about like, oh, sustainable. I think they talk more
Yeah, it's kinda
about
interesting.
yeah.
I feel like I never really thought about it, but I do, and maybe just because I probably watch more female creators that they care about sustainability, but I think that is something that I definitely think about, especially with the future, and probably Gen Z thinks about too, how to live more consciously versus just consuming things.
So, yeah, I'm trying to think about it from my perspective of someone who helps with the emerging technologies. I'm more on the software side of things, so I don't, I guess, think too much about sustainable part. But I
Mhm.
think for you,
I
you
think of
have
a
a lot of
physical
experience.
product,
Yeah,
yeah.
physical product. But the next point is actually more interesting for me, and actually relates to what I do more day to day. Is that customers are also seeking convenient, responsive, and personalized shopping experience. I think there are many forms of personalization, but some of the project that I was brought on has to do also with the fashion, wearing the clothes in the store virtually. So virtual try-ons.
Oh, yeah.
I know like the I forgot the wavy Parker. the sunglass
Warby
Warby
Parker.
Warby Parker. They had the sunglass try on and actually used it. I had to use the latest iPhone 10 at that time that had the scanning, like a lidar scanning capability that would collect the data about my shape of the face with the 3D information so that I can actually try on the sunglasses. And similar technologies are used in retail shopping experience where if you go to a shopping mall, like I think I've seen a lot more in Asia, but coming
Mhm.
more into the US, where you go to the mall, you see a screen with the camera on, and then you can just stand in front of it, and then you can like it will put the clothes on top of you,
Oh, overlay on top
overlay
of
on
you.
top of you. I think most of them actually use Snap Lens. It's
Mhm.
by Snapchat. They built this technology to lay 3D objects over you. So
Mhm.
all you have to do is design the clothes in 3D, and by using their software, you can actually create those experience more easily. I've been to a couple conferences related to XR, like AR, VR experience, where that is like a focus of it. Like how to do the virtual try on. So that is actually a really interesting area for me that customers are seeking more personalized uh, ways to shop. But from social media perspective, what aspect of personalized experience do you see in the wild?
I think AI is a
Oh, okay.
big factor now into a lot of companies thinking about how can I almost show products that a consumer wants even before they want to buy it. It's almost
Oh,
like
I
a
see.
subliminal,
I see.
like,
It's like a personalized algorithm
mhm,
shopping experience, right? Like,
yeah, showing them products that they most likely want. Or, I mean, there's a listening aspect to, I think a lot of our devices listen to what we
oh yeah,
say.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure they do because I'll be talking about, maybe wanting to buy boba or something or picking a boba or even posting a story on Instagram of me buying milk tea or drinking milk tea, and then I'll start seeing ads of, like, boba tea protein and, like,
Protein.
different yeah, well, but it's
Yeah,
like it's probably
yeah, yeah.
picking up on the keyword
Yeah,
milk tea, right?
yeah,
And, I mean, I have to say that the Instagram ads are kinda scary because scary good because
yeah.
I
Scary
feel
good.
like
Yeah,
if I get served an ad, I at least, like, the part of my brain where like, "Oh, I want this," is, like, pretty immediate. Whether or not I buy it, I mean, I still wanna I wanna probably buy 70 or 80% of what it shows me, so that's actually a really it's really
yeah,
scary
yeah.
good, I think, in that
I
way.
think we still have the frontal cortex to judge. Like, oh no,
Yeah.
we still shouldn't buy. So we're still not buying. But yeah, it's true for me. Like, I get a lot of. I think Instagram is probably the best one with algorithm. Like, I see a lot of like cat related products. Like,
Yeah.
we have cats, and I love cats, so I see a lot of cat T-shirts or cat related products. I think TikTok is a little bit different because I think TikTok
Mhm.
likes to push more like products on Temu or something where
Yeah, or is it like a sponsored
sponsored
product? But
products. Yeah,
it's almost like a sponsored product bid. Yeah, not
yeah,
to get too much into it, but, for example, a brand wants videos to promote their product, but they're not choosing a specific creator. Creators can just create videos and then they'll choose, I think, whether they'll pay
oh yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
creators
yeah.
and use their videos for sponsorship. So then I see a lot of videos that TikTok creators make about certain products that I think they're trying to get paid from the
Yeah,
brand. Yeah.
yeah. So I get more push in that perspective, and maybe like less, maybe slightly less relevant to my taste.
Yeah.
Because I know Instagram, I feel like are very spot on to what I want to see.
Mhm.
So yeah, TikTok is approaching it a little bit differently. Speaking on the AI, the generative AI, I just thought of is actually making the experience more personalized as well, or coming to because XR I can do 3D try on and like oh like look I'm wearing this clothes,
Mhm.
but I can still tell it's like a 3D, like it's not the high fidelity, high texturized. It's still like like oh I'm wearing an object and like I can kind of get an idea. Like I think it works better with things like a sneaker because sneaker is a fixed shape, but when I try on with the clothes, it's like clothes have more different light reflections and
Mhm.
more flowy. It's more complex, so it's like a less believable. But I don't know if you've seen this generative AI technology that's been coming out recently, where you can put two images together, like a one with the clothes and one with a person. Like I can upload my photo of myself, then I can put a clothes that I want to wear, and then it would generate a new image where I'm wearing the clothes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There has been more technology coming out. It still takes like, I'd say 20 or 40 seconds to generate. So
Mhm.
it's not really like I'm at the store and I'm like experiencing this real time.
Yeah.
It's probably more like I'm going to take a photo of myself and then
Mhm.
upload it. And then I'm willing to wait 20 seconds. That 20 seconds is kind of a lot of time waiting unless I already know, like, I already narrowed down, like, okay, these are three clothes I want to buy from like a Zara this month or something. And then I really want to make sure if I look right in
Mhm.
these clothes. In that sense, it makes sense. I think the speed of the generative AI generating image is kind of being reduced over time so that it's really personalized to the point like imagine I'm wearing like someone has a Photoshop that took time to see if I how I look on the clothes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I think that's coming up very soon as well. Yeah, and there's some like interesting stat that follows the study or the trends. It says roughly half of consumers have switched products or brands when they couldn't find exactly what they needed. In most markets, over a third of consumers admit to trying out different brands, and 40% have switched retailers in search for better price and discounts.
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually because so many and they could be resellers or they could be websites that kind of have collections that curate collections of different products even though they don't directly make the products.
Mhm.
You can find a lot of multiple sweatshirts or a similar, I don't know, candle set or furniture like on different websites. It's the
Mhm.
same. And then I think a lot of consumers, I do this, and I know quite a few people that do this, will compare the prices across
Mhm.
different websites of the same product to get the best deal.
Especially generic products that even on Amazon, I see the same exact product with
Yeah.
different pictures, but from different because they all come from like a same manufacturer. And then the resellers on Amazon's are just like, they didn't make it.
Mhm.
Or like I see a lot of products I find on TikTok or Instagram is just like drop shippers selling exact
Mm.
same thing. So my first instinct is like, oh wow, I didn't know this cool product existed. But I'm probably not gonna buy from that company because I know it's usually like marked up version of like a cheap thing they
Of what
can
it is,
buy.
yeah.
Yeah, because often you find the same exact thing on like let's say AliExpress or other sites that
Mhm.
does like a cheaper selling. So yeah, I think this consumer trend of I guess customers are becoming smart, and I think if you were to define brand loyalty being like, oh, I trust this brand, and I'm gonna trust this brand to provide good products at
I'll
a good
just buy
price. I just buy, right?
everything
Yeah,
from them that I need,
yeah,
that I want,
yeah,
without looking around.
yeah, without looking around, right? Because but now the consumers are bombarded with a lot of brand products where it's like it's
Mhm.
not even their original product. Like I can usually find the same thing in other place, or there's always like a cheaper version
Mhm.
of the same like a furniture design that really it's really expensive, like $3,000, but the same design, similar design, can be purchased like less than half the price or something.
Mhm.
Where like okay, well it's got to fit the bill.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, and this is probably another topic, but there are also a lot of near dupes of kind of more like pricey designer
Mhm.
products that I see. But then you can find like close near dupes
Yeah, yeah,
on some
yeah,
other
yeah.
websites too. So that's the thing too. It's like, it makes a difference. You have to drop $500 on a rug, but if you can find a near dupe that's half the price,
Yeah.
maybe. And I think it kind of goes back to price too. Like, you want to support a sustainable brand, but then if they're very expensive to support or you don't have the budget, then maybe you'll do something similar enough to get what you
Yeah.
want, but not, spend all your grocery bill on a
Yeah,
rug.
yeah. Like we encourage people to buy like organic food and stuff, but like that's usually like 2 times or 3 times more
Well,
expensive, right?
we recently watched a podcast. It was David Chang's podcast, and he said there was a study where when given the choice with organic food or buying organic produce, people usually still most people opt for non-organic because it's less expensive.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense because bills are expensive, right? Inflations are real,
Mm.
and our incomes are not going up necessarily at the same rate of the inflation. So how do you fit the bill, right? When you go to a grocery, sometimes the way I think about it for the grocery is, am I gonna eat this like a direct? Like, is this like a blueberry that I'm just gonna pop it into my mouth? And I feel like
Mm.
organic feels right. But if I'm buying like I don't know, like maybe like a green onion or something,
Right.
where I'm gonna use a lot of it, and most of the time green onion gets cooked, right? Then it's like I know it has nothing to do with that, but like in my mind, I just like have picture of like it feels good to eat organic stuff directly. But if I'm gonna cook it anyway, like why do I care if it's organic or not? And I know it's more about how it's harvested or how it's grown and less about its effect on the taste of it. But I think as a consumer, sometimes there's some illogical thought process that runs in my mind as well. But if we're to help brands retain loyalty and just like the produce where I sometimes choose some things that I prefer to be organic. Like I guess I prefer like a chickens to be organic and maybe other things I'm okay that it's not organic. Just like that, I think some consumers have their preference on like I want clothes to be more sustainable because it's close to my heart.
Mhm.
But maybe I don't care if the heater is like sustainably like
Mm.
recycle level because I need a heater
And
right
you're
now.
going
Yeah.
to use it for a while
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, even clothes you can donate, but if it probably depends on who you are. It matters like
Mm.
what's sustainable and what's not
Yeah, what
sustainable.
kind of consumer you are.
Yeah. So from my technical business consulting perspective, working with a lot of emerging technologies, I'm personally really excited to leverage generative AI's capability to personalize the experience. I know it's really difficult for my what I can do to help with the sustainability, but in terms of making it more personalized, therefore you don't end up purchasing things that maybe you thought you wanted, but it doesn't look good on you, then maybe goes in the garbage or the clothes become wasteful, right? Generative AI capabilities to generate an image
Mhm.
that combines your photo and the clothes or your photo and the shoes or things like that to personalize how things look on you. So before I even purchase, things look good on me and I feel confident as a customer.
Yeah.
That's something I'm really excited to see the growth of the technology and accessibility of the
Mhm.
technologies. I know some brands are already starting to play with it, but that's where I think where emerging technologies can be leveraged to create more personalized shopping experience. From your perspective of you're directly helping brands.
Yeah.
What do you think is a good way that you would recommend your clients in terms of brand loyalty,
Mhm.
retention, or creation?
It What's really important now, I feel like, is creating a community around
Mm.
your brand and what you sell, and really, like, if the question we're talking about here is, brand loyalty is decreasing, and so brand's concern, right, is how do we increase that or keep customers loyal to our brand? And I think part of it is when acknowledging your customers. There are times when I create a story, I tag a brand, and maybe because I do social media marketing, but I also want to shout out cool brands or just products that I got or a cool service or something. And I find that at least probably maybe 7 out of 10 times when I tag the brand in the story or a reel or a post, they don't say anything. Like they either they see it or they don't, respond or say anything. Or maybe they don't see it, right, depending on the settings, but that can be that can make a difference, I feel like, whether or not your customers come back. If we're thinking about loyalty and them coming back and customers coming back, like if you acknowledge them and they feel that they're part of this community, that you appreciate their business, then they'll probably come back. There are brands that I they've interacted with what I posted to shout them out, and then I bought from them again, and partly because they actually acknowledged and appreciated me shopping with them,
Hmm.
right? Now that doesn't mean everything. Like just because you get they repost your post doesn't mean you're going to shop with them again. But it keeps a good, it's good. It's a good image like for you and helps like show that you are dedicated to your customers, especially when, like I said, surprisingly, a lot of brands don't do that. They don't even respond or say anything.
It's almost like a
Yeah.
personalized brand interaction
Yeah.
experience. Yeah, more than like maybe the sustainability, great, like check a box. And then there's the personalized shopping experience using technology, check a box, but you still have to interact with
Mhm.
your customers because they'll be surprised to get response or comments from you, right? Like,
Mm.
oh, and then that makes you feel personally connected with the brand.
Yeah, and if a customer has an issue taking care of it on social media, a lot of customers are raising issues, right, on social media now, like on a random post of the brand, they were like, "Hey, I didn't receive this part of my order. Could you help?" And at least I pay attention to, for one, if they even respond, because some brands don't even respond. And then another is how do they respond? Like, do they go out of their way to help? Do they ask for a case number or like a direct message? Are they approachable? That does make a difference now. A lot of people are looking and paying attention to customer service. That's a big part of social media. There's a customer service part built into it now as well.
Well, speaking of the difference, we'd love to hear your experience on the brand loyalty. Like, you feel like you're becoming less loyal to brands like the trends suggest? Or is there any brand that you really like because how they treated you or because of some practices like sustainability or other practices that they do that makes you feel like, oh, I'm connected with the brands or I prefer to buy from this brand because they do things right?
Mhm.
And we like to hear the story. And make sure you also like this video and subscribe for the future episodes. We like to talk about the business topics like this, and more will be coming in the weeks. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode about the customers becoming less loyal to brands. And please leave a comment, and we'll see you again.
Bye.